You may remember that on December 5th, 2019, there was a shootout involving a masked man, UPS truck, and a jewelry store. Well, as you'll hear, the masked man robbed the jewelry store, ran out, hijacked a UPS truck, took the guy hostage. And here was the big police chase, because you know they love those high-speed chases, in a big old, very hard to drive, top-heavy UPS truck. But the cops went out there. There was a gunfight, and while the cops did take the lives of the people that were supposedly guilty of the crime, they also, well, one of them, Officer Jose Mateo, I guess is how you say his name, he was at the shootout, and it ended up taking the life of the innocent UPS driver and a bystander. The UPS driver was Frank Ordonez, and the bystander was Richard Cutshaw. Well, now they're going to get a hearing on stand your ground. I don't know how that's stand your ground. And the cop was doing his duties, I guess, and was scared, because that's what cops get, is scared. Right now they're charged with manslaughter. There's 4 officers charged with manslaughter. And here's what I know so far. I'm going to play you the news, and this is one we've got to keep our eyes on. It's hard to get the body cam footage because it's still going through the court system, so sorry about that. I'll give you what I got.
New tonight, we're seeing new videos of the police shootout that killed a UPS driver back in 2019. Surveillance video shows how it all started. A masked man goes inside a jewelry store in Coral Gables and fires into the ground. Here's a better look at the criminal while he tells the store owner to empty the jewelry cases into a bag he was carrying. From there, that man and his getaway driver dumped the vehicle they were in and hijacked a UPS truck with the driver still inside. That UPS worker was 27-year-old Frank Ordonez. The father of 2 was taken hostage and forced to drive the truck to Miramar Parkway, where a shootout took place. New body cam video shows officers approaching the UPS truck after the shooting. The UPS driver and an innocent bystander were killed by police bullets. The suspects also died. 4 police officers were charged with manslaughter. All 4 have pleaded not guilty as they now await their trial.
I wish I had a go-to lawyer that I could talk to ask these questions. I'm having a hard time grasping that this is a stand your ground issue when innocent people have been shot. If this was, if someone is threatening you and you shoot them, okay, stand your ground. If someone's threatening you and you shoot 2 other people, that's not stand your ground. That's not, I don't know what you would call it other than manslaughter, because clearly he didn't intend to take the life of the UPS driver, an innocent bystander. However, he did. And you can't just get away with calling everything an accident, but he didn't even call it an accident. He's saying it, stand your ground. He's saying that he has a right to have shot these 2 innocent people. And we really got to keep an eye on this one, because this is going to get crazy. This is in Miami. And they're almost as crooked as Chicago down there.
6, a Miami Dade police officer will be able to use the stand your ground defense. He was one of the officers who opened fire during a 2019 shootout in Miramar after armed robbers hijacked a UPS truck. He was charged with manslaughter and is now trying to get the case dismissed. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us live from Fort Lauderdale with what happened in court. Joan?
Well, stand your ground has been around in Florida some 20 years. This is a unique approach to using stand your ground, which basically says you have the right to use deadly force if you feel your life is in danger. So in this case, what they are trying to apply it to is, even though the officer fired, the people who ended up dying were innocent victims. It was a deadly shootout that unfolded on live television 6 years ago. Two gunmen who had robbed a jewelry store, kidnapped a UPS driver, and led police on a chase died, along with UPS driver Frank Ordonez and bystander Richard Cutshaw.
The first shots, though, were fired on what highway? At least reported as being
It was still on the turnpike, heading towards I-75 North.
FDLE investigator Alfred Villanueva is first to testify at a hearing for Jose Mateo, who is trying to use stand your ground as a defense to get his case dismissed. Mateo is one of 4 officers charged with manslaughter. His attorney said stand your ground applies.
Our position is that if in defense of yourself or others you use deadly force, which is justified, and in doing so you not only terminate the threat but you hurt somebody in the process, that you are also immunized.
But prosecutors dispute that, showing that the suspects had limited firepower and the police tactics were faulty. Victim Richard Cutshaw, who was shot in the back of the head, was in a car ahead of the UPS truck. His vehicle drifted into another car after he was shot.
This is really out of hand. There was no. Maybe they were outgunned, maybe they weren't. I don't know. I don't run around like I hate the police. But when they do things that are just outrageous and things are clearly out of control, there's a power structure, and I don't know. It's almost like a wafer in a video game. They eat it and then they feel like, woo, we can do whatever we want. And typically, that all of the cops that I've met all have an ego like. They have this hero complex, and I just there's no way that this is stand your ground. And Florida has a bad history of giving away stand your grounds when they aren't deserved.
And we learned that one of the gunmen actually called his wife during the pursuit.
She was like, "Say, just please turn yourself in." And she said, "I'm sorry." And he said, Alexander said to her, "I'm in too deep. Tell the kids I love them." And that was it.
So that FDLE investigator, the first of 25 witnesses prosecutors intend to call. Defense said they have about 10 witnesses, so this hearing is going to go on through at least Thursday. Now, Mateo's trial was supposed to start Wednesday. That is not going to happen at this point. If the judge does agree that stand your ground was a defense, this case will be dismissed and Mateo will go free. In Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Okay, if you're a YouTube lawyer, you know, like perhaps potentially criminal, talk to me about this stuff, man. You know, there's things I could use your help on.